And here we go. Poppy Bond. This is a live broadcast because we're on Twitch. So sorry, um, 7 minutes in. But I'm here for you. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. How is everyone? Give me your thumbs up or whatever you want to do, or if you're doing well. And if you're not doing well, then do nothing. Doing great. Awesome. Ralph Magnay. First time I consciously read this name with messages that you post here. So welcome. Cool. Tissues going crazy here. Well, I can't really see what the other emoji is, but looks good. Good. You're doing well. That's great to hear. StreamYard is not always very good at formatting things and displaying things, and also can't really reply to anything, so it's not perfect. I wanted to, or I bought stuff to basically build a better streaming setup. Still haven't gotten around to doing so, but we'll be on it. I have a stream deck and these kinds of things. So maybe at some point I'll be using something else than StreamYard. It's just a matter of, hey, when. But this sounds pretty good. Chips sausage with onion gravy. Like gravy, potatoes and gravy, always like whatever potato product with gravy, always a good choice. Whatever you are having that with doesn't actually matter, right? Gravy's great. Gravy's groovy. No, gravy's great. Yeah. Before we get into kind of all of your questions, obviously, you can post them anytime. We're gonna have a Twitchy Tide session later, right? And I want to kind of make it a little more formal, which you can get by using it's all gravy. Uh, um, whoever will be using the wombat will get 1,000 wombat. So I'll stop handing out wolf tokens for anything. 1,000 wombat for using the wombat skin in Twitchy Tides today. Whatever rarity, if you play Twitchy Tides later, you'll essentially get back part of the wombat that you've spent to actually get it, right? So when we do the Twitchy Tides later, maybe mid-time through the stream or maybe at the end, we'll see. Whoever will be using the Twitchy Tides wombat skin will get 1,000 wombat today. That's for today. Let's see how that works, right? So we'll be adjusting. If you don't know where you can get this or what Twitchy Tides is, if you're new here, Twitchy Tides is a game that you can play together with others on stream, right? So whoever survives the longest, they basically fish in the aquarium. There's all kinds of obstacles and enemies, and whoever survives the longest will get a prize. That's how we typically do it. And there's this. I'll show it. There's this skin, right? So you can get the skin. We have 1,600 of those sold. It's crazy. I think, yeah, it's one of the best-selling ones. Yeah, okay, these have a little bit more more sales, but still gonna be around. And it has, if you can upgrade it by blending 4 commons into an uncommon, 4 uncommons into a, what's it called, the rarity, and then 4 of those into a rare one, and the rare one has actually a special move they all have. So this is really cool. The coolest thing about this is 90% of the wombat that you put in here will be burned, right? So that's actually pretty amazing. And if you hold the whole set of those, then I think the remaining 10% are going to be somehow um, handed out to people who hold the entire set. So it's definitely worth having this. So just get that, register on twitchytides.io, I believe, and participate later so that you can get 1,001 back, essentially. Cool. Um, so that's just for starters. We'll get back to Twitchy Tides a little later. What's been going on here? Chat is rolling slow today. 16 people have upgraded to the rare one. 16 people. So it's a big pot for just a few people. How are you? That's an interesting question. I'm okay today. I've been getting a lot of sleep lately, but because, like I said, a very low blood sugar level right before the streams, that had a very bad pattern of eating today. So I ate very late the day. Like, my breakfast was basically at 1 p.m. and then I probably had too much carbohydrates, too many carbs, so my blood sugar probably shot up and then down. Trying to fix that. Mm, but I'm good. Otherwise, thanks, Prince Paradox. Thanks for always caring. Um, can we talk about that amazing announcement from Friday? Which announcement from Friday? Um, there I sense a little bit of sarcasm in the word amazing, um, but I would like to understand what you're referring to specifically around announcements that we made and um, what people have been basically happy or unhappy with. So always good if we get a little more specific about kind of what you mean exactly. Is this about chain monsters? This is about whatever else. Um, Curious what you're looking for, Prince Paradox. Or is it about the white paper, which is not technically an announcement? That's why I'm wondering what you're referring to exactly. Oh, the white paper. You liked it. So it was not sarcasm. Um, what can I say? There's always people who like things and people who don't, right? And you're always going to have a debate. And it's funny because on during the chat with the CEO session, we literally were getting some opinions about things that are in the white paper that were the exact opposite of what is in the white paper, right? So I was anticipating that there would be some, um, well, this discomfort with the white paper among these people, right? So I understand, right? You can't get it right for everyone. So we were trying to balance um, all different opinions and influences and so on. And well, the white paper is kind of the outcome that we think is the largest consensus of what we think is the best for, well, the company, the token holders, the community, and so on, right? So we're trying to balance all these things, and obviously there can't be one correct opinion. It's not about being right. It's not about doing one thing and everyone being um, like happy with it. But on the other hand, if we're talking, for instance, about the roadmap, right? Um, I think we were a bit ambitious when we first came out with the light paper. We want because we want to do so many things, right? We want to take care of everything, and we would like to take care of everything at once. And um, then reality sets in, and you basically work on things, and some things don't work out the way they were supposed to, or that you were thinking they would work out. So now the problem is probably not only, or mainly not, maybe I don't know, right? That things go wrong, but that we need to be upfront and communicate about them. So that's what we're trying to do. But it's also that we're not just reworking the white paper. We're not just producing a piece of paper and yeah, that's all the work that's being done, right? What we're what we're doing is we're shifting the entire focus of the company. We're rebuilding, we're restructuring the company. We're basically refocusing what we've been doing. A lot of people are basically changing positions, or we're um, um, yeah, we're switching teams, right? Hiring new people, getting new influences in, and that's a very painful process. And um, it's not it's not anything that you can do overnight, right? So um, um, so that's that's what's going on behind the scenes of the white paper, right? So for us, it's like the white paper is only what the outward facing part of this. There's so much more going on. Yes, we were overly optimistic about certain things that we could achieve, and then you end up not being able to achieve as much. So to us, that's also part of the process, basically, because we haven't been overly public about our roadmap before we came out with light paper, right? So we wanted, so that truth is that there is a little bit of an adjustment process there as well, as into what can we really commit to publicly and then actually deliver, because in the end, yes, there are other things that come in from a company perspective, from a business perspective, that we need to take care of, which we don't know at the beginning of the quarter, right? Or of the beginning of at the beginning of the month. So just to give you an example, the EOS hard fork, right? This ended up taking in a lot of resources that we needed to, or a lot of time of people, so that people needed to work on that, and that was not planned, right? It's just one example. There's many examples. It is not an excuse, but these are things we need to account for that better and be less optimistic when it comes to what do we actually communicate publicly. That these are the goals for the upcoming quarter. Um, um, well, oh yeah, maybe I'll go um, step by step. Um, okay. How Wombat will be replaced with Play invested for 360 days at staking on the staking platform. So um, we wanted to give you more transparency about that in the white paper as well. But the idea is that there will be a new staking smart contract, right? And we'll move an equivalent amount of play into that staking smart contract that you basically locked in the old Wombat staking smart contract, right? And those will be assigned to you. So both the staked tokens, whatever duration, the locked tokens for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, as well as the flexible ones, so you don't have to unstake them, restake them, whatever. You will get the equivalent amount of play. And this will be staked the same way you staked your Wombat originally. right? Because the problem was if we were to basically just drop tokens, airdrop tokens to wallets who had staked, then everyone would basically just lose their VIP status, and we didn't want that, right? We didn't want this kind of technicality that we're migrating the token to a new one be in your way of basically retaining your VIP status. That would have been pretty horrible, right? So that's why we made that decision that, okay, you're going to retain your VIP status. Before we move on, I wish to introduce my, can I say that? Sidekick? That sounds mean. But for today, my partner in crime. Hi, Olga.
Hello. Adrian also wanted to for all of you to see my terrible haircut and make fun of me. So here I am. Let me put some background music on.
That's why I first smiled because Olga was basically saying, "I'm going to be here in the background." And like, what's the use of you being in the background? Show your face to people. So,
I don't know. For stream direction or something like that. I don't know. But hello, everybody. Hello. What's up? Why are we stopping? What's happening?
Yeah, no, I was just basically reading through the comments, but why didn't you probably adopt the strategy of branded house like Google, for example, having play on all the products? It will help with engraving play in the minds, not like a strategy of house of brands like P&G, for instance. A lot of people don't recognize the parent company. There was and still is a big debate, right?
Yeah.
So in the process of coming up with PlayMind, we were discussing having a Spielworks token, right, and making this a kind of a Spielworks thing, so that this would be an all-encompassing Spielworks, Spielworks token essentially. But then we still have the individual brands, right? We still have Wombat and Atomic Hub and so on. So we're not looking to rebrand all of them into something Spielworks related, right? So in the end, Google is a great example because Google is a branded house within a house of brands. Right?
Yeah, it's not a parent company either. So.
Yeah, so they literally changed that, right? So before Google was Google, when was that? 6 years ago when they renamed the main company?
I think so. Yeah, around that time.
And there's still all kinds of things related to Google which are put together in the Google brand. But then again, yeah, they also have the Play Store. As you're saying, the play on all the products, which is which essentially is again another brand, right? So actually, I wouldn't use Google as a good branded house example, but for us, that's really what's difficult with gaming companies, with game publishers and studios in general, right? So that's why games publishers always want their publisher name in, let's say, the in the intro, right? Like EA Sports, right? So everyone knows whenever you start whatever it's called, FC 2025, whatever, you always know, okay, this is by EA Sports, so you remember EA Sports as well. But this is essentially how you build this kind of house of brands, right? So people still remember EA Sports, although the brand is called whatever it's called, football, whatever it's called, since it's not called FIFA anymore.
whatever.
But that was something that we were discussing, kind of how to go about this, how to weave the token into it. But we said if we make more games, then the House of Brands part will become bigger and bigger, right? Because we'll have more and more games under that brand, under that company with different brands, essentially. So that's how we said, okay, it's not as important to consolidate that.
If I may say so, that's also like the importance of it all, I guess, because the consolidation and where the token plays the biggest role is the Playmind protocol, effectively, right? For the core business that is games, it may not necessarily be very relevant to have like play in the name to work in the favor of the token. Case in point, also not a token, but like in-game soft currency, Fortnite and V-Bucks. Where is Epic anything in that, right? It's not. The V-Bucks themselves, from the pure naming perspective, they also don't sound very Fortnite related. They're not like Fort Bucks. Although now that I said that, I definitely see the reason why, because you start calling them fart bucks. But
what? Sorry, I didn't get that. Maybe you got cut off. Maybe that was me. Did you hear Olga say fart bucks? Am I gone? Huh. She said she actually did say fart bucks. Okay. We'll just move on with the questions, and Olga can catch up later. John is asking, is our WAS safe in next year, or do we need to move them to the wallet? So we will confirm the list of exchanges that will actually support the migration. But the safest will always be if you move them to your wallet, because then we know, right? We don't have to rely on anybody else. Actually, moving your tokens, migrating your tokens, right? So the safest will always be if you want to receive the play token airdrop, to basically just withdraw them from exchanges, any exchange, and receive the airdrop, and then you can push them back to exchanges. Because even if they do support it, we have no control over the timeline, over like whatever, right? But we'll get you a list of the exchanges which support the airdrop and the migration prior to, well, the snapshot day. The delay in Dungeon Worlds. So to me, there isn't much of a delay that we communicated here. We're basically, for us, it's more of we get out smaller stuff earlier, right? So there is no how do I put it? It's a change in concept, right? But Dungeon Worlds will become more different experiences rather than this one experience that we had in mind. So there will be more things delivered faster, actually, rather than later, right? So I understand, because there's very little information about that. There will be more information in the upcoming weeks. We will present a concept. We'll present a full game concept for the small thing that we wanted to launch, for how the big thing, like how the dungeon experience is going to look like. And I hope that this is going to help basically overcoming this discomfort here. Hey, another question from X from Twitter. Hope the changing of wombats to play will not affect our level position in the game. No, it won't. That's exactly the point, right? We want all of you to retain your VIP level. So there might be a rebalancing at some point, but not at the stage where we actually migrate from Wombat to Play. So we will your VIP levels will be retained. Oops. Shumshala. Haven't been active with my Wombat, but I got Wombat in December 2023 on KuCoin. Is Wombat delisted from KuCoin, or what is my current status as a Wombat holder on KuCoin? Yeah, so if you still hold Wombat on KuCoin, you will have to withdraw them. Wombat was delisted from KuCoin, so please withdraw. From what I'm hearing, there's still a problem with the Polygon side of things. So we're still trying to get KuCoin to basically re-allow withdrawals of Wombat via the Polygon network, because on Ethereum, I think the current fee is something like 12 or 16,000 Wombat, right, which is quite steep. So if you have a small amount, then yeah, you won't be able to withdraw essentially. So yeah, hope that you're able to get them back from KuCoin. So Olga doesn't know whether she can make it back on stream. That was reasoning for why they didn't name them Fort Bucks. Okay, but V-Bucks. That's actually funny. Yeah, sometimes it's not even what it's called, but what people associate or might associate with them. Hey, Nico. Hello. You're not a regular on the stream, but welcome. That's Nico from Taco. Okay, I haven't read that before, but I take off my pants and jacket saying, I will admit I was one that complained to the community about the white paper being more lies or delays. And I know this is going to sound petty at this point, but you've been promising a use for the OG badge for what seems like over a year, now still nothing. If you can't make a small thing like a use for the OG badge, why will you keep any other promises, goals, or deadlines? Okay, I mean, I see where you're going with this. How do I put this? The OG badge, that's an idea that we had, right? And then we did a few things that were related to the OG badge, and then we did one thing that worked, like backfired big time, right? So people were basically just transferring we had like this free drop of whatever was that, the Christmas hats, or which one was that, right? And ever since we had an idea of how to go about the OG badge, because apparently the things that we wanted to do with the OG badge originally, they didn't work out the way we wanted them to work out. And obviously what the situation that we're currently in is that the OG badge is basically distributed among people who are not OGs, right? Because they've been essentially exploiting free drops with that. So that's fine. Maybe that's exactly what we bought into. But the question is, what do we want to achieve with the OG badge, right? Do we want to stick with the original idea of, hey, people who played the game in season 0 receive something, right? That gives them benefits later on. So for that, we should actually do, instead of doing the OG badge as it is, we should do a non-transferable NFT, right? A non-transferable token. So that is what we have in mind for that. And then the alternative is to basically just honor the OG badge, because for whatever reason, people have spent money on it if they bought it on the secondary market and whatever. So I don't know exactly which side you're looking for, we're probably looking for the first part, right? Okay, how do we honor people who have been playing the game ever since season 0? So now the problem is not that we don't want to honor whatever promise we made there. The problem is that there's always a cost, quote unquote, cost benefit relation, right? So we want to do the things that have the biggest impact on the most people and that are, quote unquote, wanted the most, right? So yeah, there is a problem with this kind of approach where you don't basically just push through with anything that you've ever said, but you readjust your priorities based off of, well, what the community says, what all of you are saying, right? And I'm sorry for disappointing you with the OG badge. It's not per se a problem of doing this. It's a problem of, hey, we have limited bandwidth in general. How do we manage the bandwidth to the kind of best possible benefit of kind of the average person or the majority of the people, whatever metric you want to apply there, right? So yes, the OG badge discussion, it got prioritized down, and this is part of kind of the process here, right? This is also part of understanding what's better for when speaking to all of you, for instance. Is it more important that we basically stick to what we said once, or because then that puts us in a different mode of working, right? We've typically been operating in a mode where we say, let's do the things that are kind of that have the highest, let's say, perceived priority right now at any point in time, and let's do those. But that doesn't work very well when you try to commit on things for, let's say, the next quarter or the next few quarters and so on, and try to build kind of rapport and trust regarding deliverables for the future, right? So I understand that you're disappointed regarding the OG badge specifically and probably other things, but to us, this is part of this kind of transformation is, hey, if we commit to that, then we're moving away from the mode where we basically try and do things based off of the current situation, and that might be changing, right? And now the OG badge, you might say, okay, that's not a big deal. It's just a matter of whatever 5 minutes to come up with a new NFT design, and then you just drop that, and it's fine. But it's not just that, right? And that's the problem, that these things are always long-term. I don't want to say liabilities, but it's kind of like that, right? So, like I said, I'm really sorry for that. And if what I've been saying is, to me, it would be best if we could just have votes on all these things, right? Let's have a vote about, okay, should we actually do something about the OG badge situation, and prioritize this, because otherwise a lot of people keep being disappointed about this, or shall we just drop it entirely, right? And say, okay, sorry, that was a neat idea, it didn't work out, we will drop it at this stage. So for us, that would be the easiest, to actually ask the majority, right, of the community about, okay, what should we do with that? That's actually really good that would be really good for us. So the question is whether we should kind of have these little votes about everything, every aspect of the game that could count for the whatever, the plastic wrappings and so on, right? Like any single NFT, or is it just the OG badges specifically, right? So that's kind of where we stand on this. There's a lot of potential impact from doing it one specific way for one of the aspects. So anyway, it's fine. I mean, you're obviously allowed to have your opinion, right? And I hope that you're being somewhat polite when stating it, without violating the rules of the chat and whatnot. But that's kind of the truth about where we are and what happened to the OG badge. So now that's the big question. If the majority of the people thinks there's value in actually implementing this better solution, then we'll do it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Subamanda bad. You have some issues with the mid-season collection update. Your all mid-season submissions are PFPs, but they're all 5MP. So this is kind of a victim of the change from, well, Pedro leaving and others taking care of this. This will be fixed. Notorious BAG, again, somebody from Twitter. Why season pass from $20 to $4? So most of that is basically related to the token price, right? So on two ends, one is that the purchase price of the season pass pack in the shop, we adjusted the price in Wombat a little bit, but not accounting for kind of all the price change in token in the Wombat token, right? So I think we went from 8,000 to 12,000, something like that. Wombat. So that's part of the dynamic. The other part is that the items that you get in there, or from purchasing the season pass, they may have, or they do have, a lower value than they used to, because overall, let's say the payout on the season, right, also went down dramatically if you convert that into dollar terms, right? So in January, when Wombat was at 0.6 dollar cents, obviously the price pool for Dungeon Master for each Dungeon Master season was about 10-15 times higher than what we currently have, right? Which means that people who play the game were much more willing to spend money on things in the game as well. So that's also part of the reason, right? Then there might be explanations that also obviously here people in the community would bring up, is like, okay, the new items are not as good as the old ones, they're not as valuable, and so on, right? So there's probably a bunch of reasons. The simple answer is always, it costs whatever people are willing to pay for it, right? So it's a market dynamic, but that's the reality, right? So this is why, or these are a few parts of an explanation for why the price for the season pass has gone down. I personally think that it's definitely worth more than $4 right now, but that's just me. Coins for Vince, we are 2/3 into the season 20. Can we still expect your team to introduce a celebration gear to acknowledge these great milestones of 20 seasons on paper, 21 seasons IRL, as it was announced by yourself on this platform just a few weeks ago? Yeah, that's what I said, that we want to do something, right? But again, whenever we want to do something, doesn't necessarily mean that we are capable, or we have the bandwidth of doing this. With this specific one, I said I have something in mind, and I want to talk to the team, which we did, right? We haven't executed on this, but this was not a celebration gear, right? This was something else, and I still hope that we can get it out before the end of the season. Notorious BAGs following up. Well, the community knows better every time than the team. The community pays the team with 6% fees on collection. What's the person of a team that always makes mistakes? Well, if the team only makes mistakes and doesn't get anything right, then I think people would stop paying those 6% fees on the collection very, very quickly, right? So they wouldn't trade that. So that, at least in theory, because if you don't believe into the team doing things, then you shouldn't be buying products of the team, right? If you think that whatever, Ubisoft is just making shitty games, then why buy a Ubisoft game, right? If you don't think that Paramount does good movies, then why get into buy tickets for movies from Paramount? It's the same thing, but at the same time, it's also about kind of being able to run things sustainably, right? So if you have somebody, single person, artist, whatever, making a collection with 2, 3, 5, 6% royalty fee, right? And then this feels more like a donation if you actually pay that, right? If you buy something and there's a percentage of that going into going to the creator. For businesses, it's different, right? Businesses need to kind of need to be able to rely on these royalties in order to run a sustainable business, right? So they need a certain amount of trading volume in order to be able to sustain, right? I don't know if there's any example of any team actually making only mistakes and doing everything wrong, right? But like I said, if it's a fairly simple equation, because if it's a team and the business basically running something, and everyone would stop supporting it financially, so people wouldn't buy anything from that company anymore. And in this case, people would stop trading the NFT collection entirely. Then the team will not have funds to actually sustain working as a team, right? And then the question is, where does it get you? Does the team actually quit? Like most teams actually did, right? Most NFT collections that are in the space, they're legacy collections, and nothing's being done with them anymore, right? And then where does this get people who actually bought NFTs from that collection? They actually lose all the money, all the value that they basically, all the money that they put into it, all the value is gone, because if it's legacy and nobody's doing anything with it anymore, why would that have any value? So this is kind of where that's a back and forth, right? Where this is a joint effort. So yes, if you're talking specifically towards myself or us, if we're the team that always makes mistakes, right, that does nothing right, then I recommend you basically not supporting this anymore. If there is a little bit of a thing that, I mean, obviously here it's talking, right? So that's good. That's better than basically just silently quitting. Then let's have a discussion about what we can do better, because that's precisely what we want, right? We always want to do better. We want to deliver value for the money that people have spent. At the same time, we obviously want to make it sustainable. And there's always, right, just like there's upward spirals, where in a good market, in the bull market, there's Bored Apes coming out, right? So suddenly there's a lot of secondary market royalties being created. The team has a lot of money to actually build and grow and whatever, right? And it was not primary sales of Bored Apes, because they took a while to be minted out, and they basically were discounted and whatnot. So it was mostly the secondaries that generated a lot of cash flow for the team. And based on that, they got more investment and yada yada. So they had a lot of resources to actually do things that are beneficial to any Bored Ape holder. Cool, right? And then that worked for a while, and everyone got super excited, and the price was going up. Sorry, the price was going up, and parties were awesome, like the Ape Fests and so on. So that's cool, right? And until it suddenly isn't that anymore, and they make a lot of mistakes, and then people stop trading them, or people stop paying a high price for them. So the royalties go down, the income for the company goes down. So they would have to cut down on the team, which makes things even worse. right? Because then they have even fewer people who can actually take care of stuff and so on, right? So, and it will probably look like they're making even more mistakes, and it's going worse. So then there's the downward spiral, and this is especially happens in bear markets, right? And people are disappointed about the performance. So yeah, it's goes down, right? And then you have to reduce this team size, and then it gets even worse. What's the collection name from this band, Evading Person? I don't know. I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Shiva Seeker, sorry if this was asked. What happened to the Grandmaster Pack blend that was coming? We have cat foundation with no use. Yes, that was one of the projects that Pedro was taking care of. I don't want to blame it on him. Not at all. Should we make a note, because these are still planned. So sorry, but I will have to have a look at where we stand with that, what's prepared, what wasn't, and get back to you with an answer, or the actual blends if they're basically ready to go. Then we'll just launch them. Just a quick 1, 2. Okay. Do you plan on doing something about the traffic on the Twitter account? You can give Discord or Telegram members coin rewards that can be used to purchase NFTs or roles for interacting with each tweet you make. I'm sure there's a bot that can do this, or Bill can build one. Bill? Who's Bill? So what you want is essentially social mining for Twitter. Is that right? So that would be a good question for Olga, actually. What we're doing, or are you talking about coin rewards in terms of tab monsters? Right, because that's obviously one way of doing social mining, quote unquote social mining, whatever we want to sum that under. So yeah, I think that we should totally do that, right? We should totally have more kind of like and retweet this kind of tweet stuff in exchange for additional coins. But I also think that the overall effectiveness of these, let's call them hard to verify tasks, right? So at least hard to automatically verify tasks kind of thing. So like watching YouTube videos and whatever, this has overall gone down a little in tab games, right? Or Telegram games in general. So if that's what you're talking about, but we can, yeah. So the problem is with Twitter, is that it's incredibly expensive to use the Twitter API. So a lot of products have basically stopped actually verifying whether people have actually done something, right? I don't want to put out names and like secrets about others doing certain things because of that, but there's a bunch of products that are basically used to have a retweet this, and that was actually verified. You had to basically submit your Twitter account, whatnot, and then you would actually get the reward. And they have basically changed to, hey, we auto reward you with that, because we can't really verify because the Twitter API is expensive. But anyway, we should totally do that. That's definitely something that Olga and the folks should actually look at. Any new updates about packs and boxes? Yeah, I just spoke to the team earlier today about it. So this was the highest on the priority list until last week's EOS hard fork, because we got a very short notice, or fairly short notice, notice about one part of the infrastructure not working. So we're basically we had to rework a small part of the application first. So that has basically, because of that infrastructure thing. So the team will pick up work on this issue, on this topic, on the migration from boxes to packs. Probably, yeah, today is almost over, but starting from tomorrow. So we'll have it really soon. So I hope that we can roll this out this week, but no promises here, because yeah, it's not that easy. When new stuff in the DM shop. So I've been saying that last week on a different occasion, I believe. We are working on a kind of bigger update to the profession set items, right? Because there's been this notorious complaint, essentially, that they are too weak, right? And that's why they're useless, and that's why the prices are low, which I understand. So we are working on an overall more inherent upgrade to them. And once that's ready, which is not, yeah, whatever. It's not that hard. It's just that it's a bunch of work. Once that's ready, this will put new things in the Dungeon Master shop as well, and it's going to be more than one item. But we also had the suggestion from people to basically rotate, bring back old Wombatiums. So that's also something that we're looking into. Did the Abyss devour Olga? Yeah, I think it did. Seems like she had connection issues, so can't get back on stream, but is still here reading your comments. So you're not safe from her wrath. Riker 12 is asking, have you secured deals with Sexes for playlisting, or is it still in talks? Both. We have, and we're still in talks. The thing is that we can't really disclose that. So whenever you do a listing, you have to agree on kind of when you announce that, right? With the exchange, and they have to do that themselves, and so on. So you align on the date and the comms. So we will not disclose individual listings that we have secured or not, right, before the official kind of listing announcement date, right? Which is probably, unfortunately, gonna be really fairly short notice, right? So there's gonna be this snapshot, right? The snapshot is probably the most important date. The snapshot is going to happen. We'll basically see who holds how much was in Wombat on all the different chains, and then it will take a while to distribute all these tokens, because it's a multiple blockchains, and it's a lot of tokens, and it's a lot of token holders, hundreds of thousands. And around the time of there's, I don't know, we plan about between a few hours and maybe a day between the snapshot and actually the delivery of the tokens, right? And around that time is when the listings are going to happen, right? So around the official TGE of play, and this is when we'll be able to communicate, like probably a few days earlier. The Twitter account doesn't really get interactions, so how would the project get exposure? You already have numbers on the Discord that can do this, so there's a bot on Discord that announces a tweet that needs to be rated and we get rewards. More like so it's more about a Discord thing, not a kind of in-app thing. More like the watch to earn on the Twitch channel. So somebody was pointing out what the bot's called, right? Robot. The bot's called Engage and Give Points, which can be used for raffles and limited purchases. Olga, are you reading this? No. Now she's gone from the background even. So I'll send it to her. Where is she? Okay, sorry. So just so that she doesn't miss out on it. Updates for gold. Nothing short term that we specifically have in mind for gold. When we do these new items in the shop, part of that is going to be for gold, and we'll let you know. Are the prize pools in Wombat for experienced players and new joiners still the same as when they were introduced in Season 12? Still every season's day the same payout that's to be distributed, and still 100,000 season points equals 500 Wombat? I think most of that is true, but it's not 500 Wombat, is it? It's... what's the number? I know it's... this is odd number. I don't want to say a wrong number here. It's 630, something like that. Somewhere in the learn more. Somebody probably has this. 540. Sorry, not 630. 540. That's the number. Yeah. Cybertruck, Van der Westhuizen, Village people, you're obviously faster than me. It didn't change. No, there were no changes. That's kind of one of the debates is the sizing of the new players, new joiners, and the experienced players pool. So we're looking into this, right? We had this change in the definition of an experienced player at the start of this season, where we now have a level threshold, right? So before that, new joiners were defined as people who have who have been playing 3 seasons or less, right? So after 3 seasons, after playing in 3 seasons, not 3 full seasons, but in 3 seasons, you got promoted to the experienced players pool automatically, right? So the 4th season that you played, or always the first season that you played in experienced players. Now we have a level cap. So if in your first season you exceed that level cap, that's set to 30, I believe. You're going to get promoted to the experienced players pool right after the season in which you reached the threshold or exceeded the threshold, right? So we first wanted to see, before making more changes, we wanted to see how much of an impact that would have on kind of people who downgrade their accounts to a new account, right? Because the biggest differentiating factor for new players is actually the level, right? All the items theoretically can be moved, right? You can basically have an sorry, got derailed here. You can have theoretically you can make a new account, right? Move all your items to the new account, all your stacked NFTs, and but what you're not getting back is your level, right? So that was the first thing that we wanted to do, is basically play around with the level cap and then see how much of an impact that has on, well, outliers in the new players pool. You said that people are going to know before the snapshot if they need to withdraw their wars from where it's listed now. Yes, exactly. So the plan is to notify everyone a few weeks in advance what you need to do with your tokens, right? So that everyone knows, and there will be repeated communication about this, so you won't miss it if you're somewhat active here, right? We'll be on Medium, on Twitter, on Discord, on Telegram, everywhere. So you'll really know, okay, on that date the snapshot is going to happen, and if you are holding your tokens Wombat or was on an exchange that does not support the merge, then please withdraw them so that you can receive the play token airdrop. Does your tier affect your payout? No, there is no difference in how much the points are worth, right? There's only an indirect effect of the VIP tier or any other tiers that you might be in on your payout, but there's no kind of, hey, you get a multiplier or whatever on your payout based on whatever tier you're in, or VIP level or whatever. Yeah, so that's exactly, like, I know, Webby, you've been stating this, right? That's precisely the kind of criticism that this is getting, that it's too high. Some people originally were saying it's too low to motivate new people. But what's happening is that people are basically making new accounts, moving some of their items back to a new account, so that they can dominate that. And it's anyway way too little for new players that they basically get. So there should be more of that should be put into the experienced players pool, and that's a very fair statement, right? And I don't disagree with this. So we basically remove the incentive, but we first wanted to try with a different solution before just bluntly basically punishing the real new players as well, right? Because obviously these are NFTs, so you can't really control what's being done with them. What we can control is, for instance, the level. Robert, could you imagine to give VIP 6 and 7s something else than multiple season pass packs, maybe a VIP Wombation? So it's, as always, it's less of a problem to come up with kind of a VIP Wombation. But then what does this do, Robot? I'm curious. Like, let's brainstorm here a little. Because yes, it's kind of always my reaction to whenever somebody brings up an idea like that, because we have a lot of these ideas. Hey, can we do this? Why don't we give people this, right? And my problem is not that. Yeah, we should give you something else than multiple season passes, because then that also would reduce some of the sell pressure on VIP on season pass packs. So maybe the price would be better, because by now we have a lot of 6 and 7s, right? So there's a lot of double season passes. But what does the VIP one version do? And now I'm getting support from somebody else, because Olga Olga couldn't sustain the pressure, or her internet couldn't. Welcome. Pedro.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I wish I could have come sooner, but sadly, my son decided that today was a good day to start slapping other kids in school. So I was called to one of those. Hey, did you know that your son is doing this? I was like, no, but it's new.
Your son is in school already.
Preschool, obviously. But yes.
Because my little one had his first day in kind of preschool today. Kind of as well. I'm not saying as well, but he didn't slap anybody. But I mean, your son is 1, right?
Well, almost 2. He's 2 in 2 months.
Well, I would say that this is what kids do.
Well, yes, but it's always amazing when you hear that a 1-year-old has slapped a 3-year-old across the face like nothing. I mean, the description that they gave me was almost like an action movie, so I was rather jaunted. And I also heard whilst I was entering Wombatium, and I needed to defend the T in this conversation of Wombatium, so that we are clear in the terms of the Urban Dictionary present.
Yeah.
But hey, everyone, I'm here to help. Adrian, don't worry, I'll be putting the questions in for us to read. I got you back.
Well, I need your back here on this one from the dentist. When will the pre-launch marketing campaign start for? Well, the Playmind protocol, that's different. Maybe let's have an explanation about this, right? The Playmind protocol itself is different than the Play token migration, right? But we will have both. There will be a campaign that will feature influencers and whatnot, but maybe that's something you want to give your thoughts on, Pedro?
I mean, we're already working on everything that is the marketing campaign right now. We're with Adrian and the executive committee deciding budget, deciding which avenues to pursue. We're getting all the information regarding his changes, market maker, all the actor pieces. We're also starting to engage, obviously beyond with the new white paper, with KOLs, with the persons that are closest to us that have the biggest bags as well. So you should be seeing some signs soon, for instance, namely the new website, which I think it's pretty cool. But I don't want to delve too much into details because we want it to work effectively.
So that always entails surprises.
Of course, that's the marketing. It's the essence of surprise. But, and now coming back to the comments that we had before, Prince Paradox stating that the newbie pool should be 1/4 of what currently it is. What do you think, Adrian?
That's a big change, right? If we go from 1.5 to, well, then 400,000, we'll definitely have a look, right? Like I said, we'll evaluate kind of the effects, and I don't at all disagree with you, Prince Paradox, or Webby for that matter, right? Or anyone else saying, okay, it's way too high. The best way would be to basically base that off of economic activity, right? In the game, like the contribution to the economic activity, basically, quote unquote, how much people actually invest into the game. That might become a little hard, but that's precisely where we need to find a balancing there. What we typically do is go step by step, right? Just like with reducing mining power for individual templates if they're over minted or whatever. We've made bad experience with we've had bad experience with basically just cutting it down and nerfing it from 500 to 5, right? People have been getting death threats because of these kinds of things. So we want to avoid like mega disappointment, especially with people who have started playing based off of, let's say, whatever, let's say a million prize pool, and suddenly it's 500 or suddenly it's 200, right? So they may be in their second or third season. So we would typically not go from X to 1/4 X in one go, but we would reduce it step by step. That's kind of more
There it is.
more of the general approach that we have.
Well, Webby suggested in the past, and now Robot picks it up with the introduction. They would love the introduction of multiple leagues, starting with 3 and then with more players coming to 5.
Yeah, that's the alternative to kind of the new players pool. This was also what we were discussing back in the day when we introduced the new players pool, right? What we ended up with was though that we would first try with a new players pool. Now we can call it a failure, right? So now we can move on to basically actually introducing leagues. Leagues have pros and cons, obviously, right? So one thing is quote unquote problem with leagues is you have to have a similar number of people who advance into the next league as the people who actually get pushed down, right? So that you retain the size of the leagues, which is much easier with a few people and much more difficult with a lot of people, especially if the payout is directly tied to being in the league, right? So I think that what everyone would expect is that, let's say let's just call them whale, dolphin, and fish leagues, right? So you would have a whale league, which would probably be just a small number of players, but a large payout, right? So this would get whatever, 50, 60, 70, I don't know, whatever you would have in mind, percent of the total prize pool, right? But it would only be a few players. And then the problem is if you have let's say 100 players in that league. This is for the sake of an example, right? You have 100 players in that league initially, and then you have 1,000 players in the league below, right? Now what you would want to do is basically remove about 10% of the players from the top league every season, right? You would want them to basically move down to the second highest league. But if you only have 10 players advancing from the lower league, let's say from the Dolphin League to the Whale League, then this is a little too competitive for the Dolphin League, maybe, right? So this was a discussion that we had. Or is the alternative that we would actually make them equally sized, which is basically not possible because then what do we do with the lowest league? That always has to be like kind of bigger, right? So there's a bunch of discussions that are a little tricky, which is precisely the reason why we originally went with the new players pool, because then there's a fixed definition for when you move between the pools, right? And it doesn't matter how many people that is, right? Because it's basically just based off of certain criteria, like being in the game for more than 3 seasons.
Well,
so I would really love to hear
sorry.
Your and Webby's thoughts on this. Not just, hey, do we want leagues? Because yeah, I agree, we might want to have leagues, but what's the kind of precise mechanic of how people advance, or does it? How do you call that when you go down from one league to another?
Multi-league?
No, when you go down, like
demotion.
Yeah, you get demoted from one league to another, right?
Prince Paradox is suggesting if we can use the current tier system to do the leagues. Ooh, this sparked some interest.
I don't think so. That's my answer.
No.
Um,
Your face was sorry. Relegation, yes, dentist. You're absolutely correct. It's not demotion.
Relegated.
Rising is promotion. Going down is relegation. Yes. Thank you so much.
Sorry, sorry. But I was saying I don't think so because your tier directly relates to the number of points that you got in this season, in this current season, right? So that basically you're being put into a percentile ranking, so that the tiers are basically just percentiles, right? So you're like the top 1% in terms of points are the top tier. Let's just say, right? So if we made leagues based off of the tiers, well, that's kind of a self-fulfilling sort of prophecy because because the points translate directly to wombat tokens, your points would well, they're competitive, right? That's where the competitive element is. So no, we can't do that. So that's that's the long answer for. I just had to kind of think about it a second.
Find the dollar goes further with undemoted. Just bringing this in. Just picking up a few comments here, if you don't mind, Adrian. First, robot. When tides, gotta leave and see the wombat swim. Well, we're going to still be here a little longer because Adrian still has some questions that he needs to answer. Coins for Vince. I may not have entirely phrased myself correctly, but the thing is, we want the details to work, especially with everything that's been going on around the company. We want to make sure that the finer things are working, so that the website is a place where people can get their questions, that the white paper is a place where people can get some of their questions answered as well, whilst everything else then cascades directly into our sources of information. And yes, I think it's a good thing. Making sure that things are working is a good attitude, at least in marketing, where things usually tend to fail. But coming back to the topic of our beloved game, Nadu, who was in our last stream, asks, the clan lost 10 million points when a new player decided to leave the clan, and we dropped 5 spots down the clan leaderboard. That seems a bit high considering it's way higher than the experienced clan members that are in the top 50 of the season leaderboard. What are your comments?
I don't understand.
So apparently they had a player that left that was one of the newbies, and their
Mhm.
clan just dropped down a bunch of spots on the leaderboard. And whilst I think the question pertains to, should the leaving of players have different values for a clan not to be so penalized?
Well, the metric for the clan leaderboard right now is basically just we sum up all the points of all the players in the clan, right? So if one of the members leaves and they had a lot of points, then you lose a lot of points as a clan. That's it. That's all there is to that. That's just the basic logic of how the clan points are being calculated. So that's why I was a little confused here.
Yes, sir. Going back to Wombatiums. VIP Wombatium is kind of a joker, which can be used instead of other Wombatiums for some blends.
Okay, that's a good. I mean, that's a good suggestion. I'm. There's obviously the inherent balancing question in there, right? Which ones and why these and why not others, and isn't using this as a replacement for let's just say Bagwombatium, is that a little bit weak? No, it's not, because you can also use it, right? So there's a bunch of questions here, but if this is I mean, this is good, this is totally cool, right? Then if that would be enough for people to get slightly more excited about being VIP 6 or 7, instead of receiving a second season pass pack, right? Getting a VIP Wombatium that can be turned into certain other things. Cool. I'm totally Or if it's a joker, this might actually indicate some kind of a randomness. So we might
That
have
is very interesting.
we might have a raffle. So you might maybe that's basically just it can become anything, but just at random, right?
I love that. I actually like that a lot.
You do. I'm not sure about robot.
Just before jumping to Coin for Vince's question, your village people says you can do I will say Wombatium just for your happiness today, Adrian, but I would do under protest, and you as well define the dollar. You can do a VIP Wombatium that you can blend. It's weird saying it, that you can blend into a key for a raffle to win a share from a token. Another token decides the payout. Let's say VIP 6 gets 20 raffle tickets and VIP 7 gets 25 raffle tickets to win a share from Woofy token at the end of the season. There has also been some discussion in the chat that the VIP 7 tickets should be much higher, something like 100 tickets to VIP 6's 20 raffle tickets.
Yep. I like these ideas in general. I think there's sometimes and that is not this shouldn't sound like a cheap excuse or whatever, but sometimes what we try is come up with something more novel instead of kind of doing the same thing in multiple places over and over again. Maybe we should just keep it simple and just do the same thing, so long as this basically funnels back value to the holders or to stakers or VIPs or whatever. We might actually keep it simple. So I very much appreciate it.
Flowing back to Coins for Vince, is won't play items on EOS chain a distribution wallet? Using Chess Universe collections, most of, if not all NFTs are minted. The wallet has over 48k on Chess Universe. It has 147k of EOS NFTs, so they can still be redistributed via 50k Wombux chest. Wow, that was a mouthful.
Yeah, so on EOS, most of the collections were pre-minted. That includes Chess Universe. That includes we also still hold a bunch of confettis in that wallet. Yes, this is a distribution wallet, right? So the NFTs were minted there, and then they were distributed from there. The problem on EOS is not that we can distribute those, right? We can. That's totally fine. We could put them into let's say the 50k Wombux chest, except for the people who don't have an EOS account, right? Before that, EOS accounts were free, and now they're not anymore because of the high RAM cost. So we put a paywall in front of this. So now we can't. It's not. We can, but it's not as easy to basically just put them in the chest, because this would basically, quote unquote, discriminate the people who don't have an EOS account. Now you could say, hey, that's a good way of making money, because then more people would buy the EOS account. Maybe that's that. Maybe we'll do that. We were actually thinking how else we could distribute these NFTs to people who actually already have an EOS account, right? So, but that is definitely one idea.
Well, we have a question back to the leaks topic. Robot asks, affirms mostly. I would say that leagues have a specific amount of people. If a player is in top 20, top 50, top 100, he is league 1, 2, or 3. Basically similar to the chess tier system at the end of the season. An interesting suggestion.
Sorry, but I don't get this. So people would get promoted or demoted to the leagues if they're top 20 in their league. So you're in league 2 and you're top 50 in that, and then you get promoted to league 1. And likewise, the bottom 50 of the league 1 are basically relegated to league 2. That's what you're saying, I guess, right? Because the chess tier system at the end of the season, I don't know exactly what you mean, but also I think that this works differently if you mean what I think you mean. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. That's cool. It's just that typically the leagues would not have equal size, right? Because there's got to be at least one league that's much bigger than everyone else, than every other league, right? So we could have a League 1 that's 1,000 people, a League 2 that's 1,000 people, and then League 3 would have to contain all the people who have played the game in this season, right? And then if you just let the top 50 advance to League 2, that sounds very competitive for like let's say 5,000 or 10,000 people, whereas if you have 1,000 people in League 2, demoting 50 or even 100 or whatever number, that is a lot on 1,000 players, right? So this balancing of the size of the leagues, where we have an unknown, which is how many people do we have playing total each season, that is what's tricky. But I see where, I mean, this is the right kind of discussion that we're having.
Well, we're not alone, Adrian. Captop doesn't get it either. Which is good to see that we're not going a little bit crazy.
But you always have to try and distill kind of the whatever you think might be in there.
Following up on the slitted sheet, I see it says, what if you use runs for the leagues? Then people will be encouraged to balance speed and contributions. Would make some gear more valuable too.
Oh, I don't know whether we need to incentivize more runs right now with people basically using the negative stamina hack already. But maybe once we fix that, it might be a thing again. I personally am not a fan of using the runs because that again would set stronger incentives for using automated tools or whatever, right? And then we create a bigger problem that we then have to contain. But I mean, thinking about it kind of at a second glance, it's actually maybe not that much of a bad idea, because then you would basically compete with the people who do a similar number of runs. So you may have an incentive to not do as many runs, so that you don't get promoted into League 1, because you don't want to compete with all these people doing massive amounts of runs. So that might actually open up very interesting, how do you say, economics of play theoretical effects. That's what I wanted to say.
Wow.
That's game theory, not play theory. Game theory. What's wrong? I don't know. I'm basically.
Beantown Bob goes back and says, I still feel that the experience pool should be 20 million wombat and the beginner pool should be reduced to 5 million wombat. This would be good for legitimate newbies entering the game.
But it's not 5 million wombat. It's not more than 5 million wombat. So we have 25 million wombat total, right? Of which 15 million is distributed in the prize pools and 10 million is distributed in the bonus.
Beantown Mob is saying that the division right now is 15-10. With Webby confirming this the 10 million.
No. It's not 15-10. It's 10 million is the bonus. It's not the new players pool. So the bonus is the bonus, right? So that's what you get from wearing bonus gear, and it's based off of your contribution and so on. But that's not the new players pool. So I can ask the team what's currently in the software, so that we don't have to kind of look up maybe outdated documentation, but I'm not aware of any change. So originally it was 13.5 and 1.5.
Maybe states it was 25 mil pool before newbie league, then dropped to 15 mil.
No. So it was never 25 million. It was always 15 million after we moved from dollars to Wombat tokens. It was originally, we went from $25,000 plus the bonus, which was 10 million Wombat tokens, to 15 million Wombat tokens, which at that time was significantly more than 25,000. I think that was like 35, 40,000 at the time, plus 10 million Wombat, right? So that was 15 million Wombat for the prize pools, which replaced the 25,000, plus the 10 million that were the bonus, which we had the bonus before that already, right? And out of the 15 million, I still believe that the split is 13.5 and 1.5. Maybe I'm getting this entirely wrong, but
Want me to put back the question? I got it right here.
You got it. No, it's okay. It's I'm just wondering where these numbers are coming from, because at least I wasn't aware. Maybe I basically totally missed out on a massive development in the game, right? Which is, can't exclude that. I would not be entirely surprised, but we don't have anything in the on that. It seems we don't have anything on that in the learn more page. So, but anyway, I would want to have a statement from the developers.
Yes, sir. Just before moving forward with more discussions, there is a great comment from Chur. It's good to see that when Marvel streamer Cam now went Wax streamer like a week ago, the recommendation was to get a Wombat wallet first. Successful wallet, Wax successful Wombat wallet, though Cam now didn't seem convinced of the game's Wombat offers. Well, if the community is recommending us to content creators, we're always happy. It's always amazing to hear. I'm going to print this and send it to the team. But it's very, very cool. Thanks for sharing with us.
But it also means we need to have a discussion with Cam now.
Yes.
About, hey, what do you not like?
What games do you wish to play? But thank you, Chair, for sharing with us. That's amazing news. Robot follows up on the VIP Wombatium. Why not introduce this together with a blend into a season pack or raffle ticket, or use it as Joker Wombatium? Use cases for it could change, but blend for season packs would always be there. More flexibility for users in dev, and I kind of hate to sell the season pass pack cheap and in season time before it gets useless.
Yeah, that's how I would basically counter this whole discussion to a certain extent. Is you may not want VIPs to save up a lot of these Joker Wombatiums, but maybe you want, maybe you do, right? So it's okay. It's a great idea. So maybe we would essentially, I guess, because now I was thinking maybe we replace both season pass packs with these Joker Wombatiums, and then you have the choice. But I'm thinking, would anyone not blend the Joker Wombatium for a season pass pack? So yeah, maybe let's just replace the second one with a Joker Wombatium. Great. I mean, we're having basically a feature design right here for the Joker Wombatium. I'm loving it.
Moving forward, Anzi says, "Hi Adrian, we really need a Grandmaster pack blend. 5k MP is nothing for top whales. They need 10k and above, and these new profession packs ain't given that."
You are correct, Enzi. I mean, it's kind of the equivalent of the platinum and then the rhodium pack, right? So we've so far failed to produce these blends. Like I said earlier, I'll check on the progress we had made on them, whether everything's basically ready. or whether there are substantial things missing to actually get them out, and then we'll finally launch them.
That's a good.
But they were planned right from the get-go, right? And the cat Wombatium, there was a correct statement about the cat Wombatium sitting there idling.
Wombatians idling in the wallet. Sorry. Every time I hear idling, I think of cars, especially old cars, when you try to put them on. And they go.
Well, that's not precisely idling.
No, idling is when
When
they're
they-
like pre-revving, but I always like the final dollar says mine says reward pool 15 million wombats.
That's what I said as well. But yeah,
So well, we're almost at the end of the stream, which means
so we should do the Twitchy Tides thing.
Twitchy tides. Yes, because Robot especially wants to see his wombat floating about.
So yeah, let's go. You can already register. Just type !wombat. So Robot, please register. So at least you'll have your wombat playing with us.
Yes, my wombat needs wombat friends to play with.
You still have the red one.
I really like it, and I admit I hadn't stopped to buy the black one. It needs time.
But what I said earlier in the stream is that anyone using any wombat skin in the Twitchy Tides will get 1,000 wombat tokens,
Whoa.
but that doesn't count for you.
Well, I can donate mine to the person that stays second in this game.
Second, because you think you're going to win.
Well, I always assume I win. I work at Spielworks.
Well,
See the marketing
well,
smile?
Hey, Nadu is saying 17 people early in the stream. It sounded like there were 16. So maybe we got an additional one, which would make me really, really happy.
Poor Mo Chatwitcher says the server didn't pick up yet, so still not the Wombat Diver, going with the old one. Well, if you update it now, if next game we play, he should be there. Because last time I went through that, the second game, he was immediately there.
Yeah, but if but Paparagon once said that it may or may not be there. So there's no guarantee it will
It's
work.
a
with it.
Schrodinger Twitchy Tide fish. Oh, Conservis says I changed it to Wombat fish, but the server is still registering an old fish. God dang it.
That's what I meant, right? So never change it away from the wombat. This is what we learn.
Yes. Once a wombat, always a wombat.
Who is this? CM Mad.
CM Matt is Bernardo.
I know.
Ah, it's because he also has this command. And he banned someone. Bernardo, are you there?
He obviously is.
Oh, there he is, the big man himself. My rare wombat has powers. He can dive. Coins for Vince.
Well, the rare one can poop.
No. Ah, yes. So the second one, the red one can dive, and the black one can poop.
Yeah, there's the yellow one, the blue one, the red one, and the black one.
I always get confused with the Neville because I use the WoW weapons system. So for me, it's always like common, uncommon, rare, epic, so on and so forth.
So the red one is
It's rare, right?
no, it's scarce.
Scars.
It's one below rare.
So let's
I
give
also
it.
I also prefer the way we've done it in Dungeon Master with. Well, I kind of wish, because we went from common to rare. I kind of wish we had introduced uncommon back in the day. Actually,
Mm,
so we would have common, uncommon, rare, epic,
epic.
legendary, mythic. We would have had one more rarity.
Every time I speak NFTs with Bernardo, I get that because I'm like, the common, uncommon runs right. And no, rare. It's like, but where's the uncommon? Where's the green stuff?
Green stuff.
Because the green weapons are always the uncommon ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah. We don't.
We don't do that here.
Well, I mean, the commons were green, right? But yeah.
Prince Paradox wants the old orange stuff, full legendary power.
You don't need to type your Wax account if you're registered with Twitchy Tights. It's gonna be there right away.
Diablo 2 for life. Yes. Yes, sir. Best
Diablo 2. Oh my goodness. It's definitely in my top 3. How much time did I spend with this game? Lifetime.
Mine is World of Warcraft. I have more than a year inside the game.
Yeah, I'm a bit embarrassed saying that my top 1 game that I've probably, or maybe the top two of the other top 3 games that I spent the most time in, which probably sum up 2 years as well, is Anstoß 2 and Anstoß 3, which were football managers. German productions, really very, very German games, but I used to play them so much. And actually, ever since Anstoß 3, which I actually have on good old games, on GOG, GOG, whatever, it was just too good. And ever since then, I've been looking for a good soccer, whatever manager game. And EA Sports never made it anywhere close to what Anstoß 2 and 3 had. So,
what was the main features for you that were the differentiator?
It was very simple to play, right? And it had a rather simple metric for like power and you could watch the games, like simulations of the games, right? And they had a lot of attention to detail. I mean, we're talking Anstoß 2, when was that? Maybe 97 when it came out, maybe 98, something like that. And Anstoß 3 was a few years later. They had an amazing. No, that must have been earlier even. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Anstoß 3 was 99. I don't know.
99. I was 8 years old. Matt is saying that you're lying, Adrian. That the top game is Dungeon Master and then War Alliance, where you lose to him.
No.
This is the word of the stream. No. Well, let's get to it.
Okay, let's get
Ladies
to it.
and gentlemen, we have Twitchy
let's get this party started. The only question is, do we have any wombats who could actually poop? I don't think so, right? So
we have divers.
But you have a red one.
I can dive.
But you're the only one. So we can go for something quick here, right? Maybe
Piranha mode again.
Nah, let's go for fast. It's a little bit too fast on Piranha. So
well,
we have 54 people.
I'm going to use a very trademarked sentence, which is, let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah, good times.
You know that DC and Marvel lost their claim to superhero?
No.
They no longer own the trademarked word, the trademark of superhero. So before, when
Now anyone
companies
can be a superhero.
oh, I got goofed. Before, when companies wanted to use superhero, they needed to ask Marvel and DC for permission.
Well, they wouldn't get it, right? They wouldn't get the permission. Oh, look at that. Mocha Twitcher won this round without the wombat. Tree
So
Frognada, Canvas,
my
Tissues, and Mike Bong are the winners of this round. Top 5
and
players, by the way. I keep forgetting.
Mocha Twitcher gets my 1,000 wombats for using a wombat skin.
Okay.
Congratulations. I was so sure I was gonna get to top 5.
You didn't. You need to improve your Twitchy-tight skills.
But where did I get? Did you just scroll for me to see? I didn't. I wasn't much lower. Maybe I was.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm 15th. It's not bad out of 50, 54. Because the dive, he goes really, really under. It's really cool.
In the league system, you wouldn't have made it to top league based on your performance.
It's okay. It's okay. It was fun. We'll see. Next week I'll bring my black wombat and I'll win with poop.
So I got an answer from our team. Now I need to do a little bit of math because I just got the point numbers, not the clipboard. So such a disaster. So yeah. Something is. No. Okay, it's the other way around. Sorry, I was just confused. So there's 2.5 billion points total for experienced players. Is that billion? Is that right? Yeah, it seems like that's billion. 2.5 billion, and there's 275 million. Yeah. So that's 15% of the 2.5 billion, right? It's not 15%, it's like 11%. Sorry. But yeah, so that corresponds to the numbers that I had in mind. So that's the official number now. There's 2.5 billion points being handed out in the experienced, and 275 million in the newbie players one. So whenever you say change it, this is what we have to change it from, right? And the 15 and 10 million split, that's 15 million in the prize pools and 10 million wombat in the bonus.
Fantastic. Well, I guess that's it for today.
It's a
it's a
Kylo, but Pedro would get the 1,000 wombat that I promised to anyone using any skin, and Pedro said he will forward to whoever was the winner of the round who was not using it.
I thought it was me, that's why I said the second place, but I didn't win, so.
So what do experienced get in wombat? Get in wombat. So Um,
Ooh, Nadu brings a very interesting topic to the table.
so that's 13.5 million is precisely the number of what experienced players are getting.
There you got the math. Adrian, let's talk serious now. What do you need to do to get a great beard like that? Besides, let
From
it
up
grow.
close, mine doesn't look that good. um, I've I have figured that brushing it is what leads to success. Like brushing it
Yes,
regularly and always, and it
there's
also
a
feels really good. But
there's
get a good brush.
kits. There's kits for that. You should oil your beard, brush it, and have specific shampoo just for the beard in your bath.
Shampoo, you're right, because the hair shampoo is generally too aggressive for your beard. So get a kind of special face wash, kind of whatever, right? And
Yeah.
but I hate oil. I don't do oil anymore. I tried it a few times, and I always hated handling it and having it and like everything about it. I just didn't like. But the brushing that's
Yeah, it
feels
gets away the dandruff.
yeah, it's nice.
Old Mankey, we always sing. That's why it grows so well. Chur says the interesting contribution numbers will compare to what I evaluated in my ongoing studies of wombatology in the College of Wombat Studies.
Now I have to think about the clown college in in Simpsons. Can't help. Sorry.
You're not alone, Adrian. Beantown Bob also hates the oil.
Exactly.
But
Everything's oily.
my favorite
also-
tactic is Prince
Also did
Parrot.
that one.
No. Grow! Grow!
Grow the fuck up. So just two more things because I missed out on that. I know that there's been some comments. Thanks a lot for Cybertruck for your resub for 5 months, and Atlas Drawers, who has been subbed at tier 3 now for
Whoa.
24 months, which is freaking amazing. That's the
Now that is
most
a wombat
impressive
champion.
stat ever, actually.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thanks a lot, both of you. But I mean, 24 months is really, really impressive.
It's amazing.
So-
Thank you for being with us.
That gets us into the last question of the stream, as always. Who are we rating today?
Ooh. The raid. Do we have
raid?
we have a suggestions? Atlas deserves the champion Wombatium is a strong suggestion.
Champion Wombation. Yeah, maybe we should create a champion Wombation that we hand out to people who have been subscribed for 24 months on tier 3. So 5
Yeah, our usual raid, right? Geller.
yeah. 5-minute masters. Can do. 100 extra stamina for Atlas. That would be OP, wouldn't it? But then again, hey, 24 months. It's like everyone starting now will get 100 extra stamina in 2 years.
Well, gentle people, it was a pleasure as usual. Thank you for
Thanks a
being
lot.
here with us.
We'll be rating 5-minute masters in that case. No other suggestions here. So yeah, thanks a lot for being on. We'll have another session on Discord on Wednesday. Where I'll be there. Pedro, where will people be able to see your beard throughout the week?
I'll be around the server as usual, so you always just need to tag me and I'll be there. Just a kind reminder that chats with the CEO are bi-weekly now, to every 2 weeks now. So this Friday there won't be Adrian for you to speak with, but next one there will.
But I'll be there on Wednesday on Discord.
People always love more Adrian, so I'm just trying to manage.
Not so sure about that.
Everyone,
Alright.
thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
And say hello to 5 Minute Masters. See you next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye, everyone.